Things just went from bad to worse on this Chevy Cruze, and the customer's not even sure if it's worth fixing. Let's find out what happened. Let's get started. This is a 2011 Chevy Cruze with the Ecotec 1.8 that's used in tons of GM vehicles. It came in with some simple cooling system problems. The customer tried to do some repairs themselves, and they got to a stopping point where they said, I better get this up to the wizard shop so I can get a more detailed answer of what in the hell is going on here. And we're going to show you some really detailed, actually really cool tests we did and how we figured out the problem with this engine. Before we dive into that, let's go ahead and look around the vehicle, and then we're going to dive in. We have all seen this front end. There are millions of these on the road all across America. They're everywhere. This one's in fair shape. It does have fogged up headlamps. The paint's got some dents in it, like hail dents and things going on. You can see them on the hood. There's little dents all over the place. It's got plastic wheel covers, and it's not rusted out or anything serious going on. It could be a good daily driver if we fix the problem. You can see this is just the basic Cruze. It doesn't have the turbo engine. And it's all in all in decent shape. It's not beautiful, perfect, but it's not terrible either. Let's go ahead and hop under the hood and dive into what in the world's going on here. Springtime usually does bring out cooling system problems. Now that it is spring, I'm getting more and more cooling system appointments from people worried that there are serious problems with their car. I fully support taking care of problems early before they become a big issue, and this includes taking care of yourself. Did you know anxiety peaks in late spring? That's right now. We're all waking up from our winter blahs, wanting to get outside and enjoy the better weather. But that all comes at a cost. The longer days, new routines, and shifting priorities can really take their toll on a person. Just trying to get to all your kids' events, car shows, and keep the grass mowed to a reasonable level can make you feel very anxious and overwhelmed. That's where BetterHelp, the sponsor of today's video, can help. Their therapists know how to address anxiety and help you manage your life. Did you know that a majority of BetterHelp members seek support for anxiety? And 69% of those people report improved anxiety symptoms after just 6 weeks of therapy on BetterHelp. It's so easy to get started. Just fill out a quick questionnaire. They will match you to one of their well-qualified therapists in as little as a couple of days. They are here to help you live your life again. BetterHelp makes it easy to switch therapists, and their customer support team is there if you have any questions. Let BetterHelp help you rule your anxiety so it doesn't rule over you. Click the link in the description below or go to betterhelp.com/carwizard and get 10% off your first month of therapy. You take great care of your car, take a few minutes and take care of you. Now back to this Cruze. So we see all kinds of test equipment out, things going on. We've been doing some serious diving into this problem. The customer has replaced the thermostat themselves. They were having some issues with the engine getting hot. They didn't let it get real hot or overheat or anything. They put a new thermostat on, and then right after that, they blew a radiator hose. They were able to reattach it and put a tighter clamp on. And when it came in, we were thinking it could have a blown head gasket. We did the combustion gas test, it passed, and several other tests. It does not have a blown head gasket. But as we started to move into the radiator hoses, and we know that the water pump is going bad because it's making some really loud noises like while it's running, we found even more problems. And we'll get into that here in a minute, but we did find there's oil in the coolant. We just went through this with a BMW that was here not too long ago, so it proves the rule that when problems come in the shop, they usually comes in 2 or 3s. So how does oil get into the coolant? There are 3 ways on this engine. It could be a head gasket, not necessarily a combustion leak, but just oil into the coolant. A head gasket seals off oil, antifreeze, and combustion pressure. 2 of those can fail, but the engine can still run fine and not overheat. The second issue where you have oil in the coolant, which I've seen in the past, is transmission cooler inside the radiator cracks and starts blowing transmission fluid into the antifreeze. And the third issue is an oil cooler, just like we saw on that BMW that we just saw that was here not too long ago. How do you know which one it is? How do you know where to go or what to tell the customer? we're going to show you the test that we ran that got straight to the bottom of the problem. An easy quick check you can do, which we did on this, is the coolant reservoir, which the customer replaced because they thought it was cracked or something was wrong, and it wasn't. But there was oil in the reservoir. Let's take a look. This is a brand new reservoir, and you can already see oil floating on the top. And down here below, you can see brown staining all on the side of the coolant reservoir. When we had coolant drained out of it, there's a thick layer of oil all in the bottom of this reservoir. We're going to remove hoses here in a little bit and show you what we found, but when we removed them prior, there's oil gunk all in the hoses. This entire cooling system is caked with oil sludge. It's really bad. Where's the oil coming from? The customer's going to ask, I want to know where is it coming from and how much is it going to cost to fix it. This is where you can get in trouble with some shops, guys, where they can say, oh, it needs a new engine. It doesn't need a new engine. It needs competent technicians to figure out exactly what's going on with a detailed answer. That's what we do here at Omega. We get detailed answers for our customers. But let's start with the transmission oil cooler. Let me show you where it is. So this line comes off the transmission and puts transmission fluid into the radiator. And inside the radiator, there's actually a small oil cooler built into it, which is very common. They've been doing that for years on cars. Just like this picture here, you can see it's a metal cooler in the side tank. That coolant's supposed to flow over it, but oil and coolant are not supposed to mix there. But if it cracks, 30, 40 psi transmission oil starts mixing with the coolant. So how do you test that? You have to isolate it and pressure it up. So those of you that are observant saw the actual transmission cooler lines are disconnected at this time. And we have transmission cooler lines from another vehicle that was a GM that we cut up and used to do our test. It's actually off of another Chevy truck. It's identical hoses, so it snaps right into the radiator. Let me show you. Right here is the remnants of an old transmission cooler line that goes into the radiator. And we have it teed off here that goes to the other side of the transmission cooler. So it's basically a big loop. And this is a radiator coolant pressure tester. We're going to pressurize only the transmission cooler. Not the radiator, not the transmission, not anything else. Just the little cooler that's inside the radiator. It should hold pressure. Let's see if it does. Here we go. It doesn't take much because it's a small little system. Just pump it to about 15. There's somewhere in the yellow zone, and we'll just let it sit. All right, so 10 minutes have passed, and let's see if anything has leaked out of the transmission cooler. Nothing, not even 1 psi has dropped. It's exactly where it was 10 minutes ago. It's holding very well. This doesn't have to be high tech. You just have to have some spare parts laying around, a little ingenuity, and you can test things like this on your own. This didn't cost $5 grand for some special test equipment. It cost a couple of spare pipes that we didn't even use anymore. They're actually going into scrap bin, and they made a perfect little tester for this cooler. We have proven the cooler is not leaking at all. So that's not getting oil into the system. Let's move to number 2, which is the engine oil cooler, which, like in this picture, is all bolted to and part of the oil filter adapter or assembly. Let me show you where that's at. We can see our oil filter here. I'm touching it. And back behind this exhaust manifold is a large assembly with the oil cooler. It's easy to miss because it's hidden, but I'm going to pressurize the cooling system itself now. And you'll be able to hear, audibly hear, hissing noise coming from behind there. And that's where we didn't need to go any further, but let's show you what we found. So here's our other pressure tester. This is the cooling system now, not the transmission cooler. This is where the coolant is. Let's go ahead and pressure it up to about 15 psi. All right, guys, I'll take my microphone and put it in that area. Did you hear that? It's like a little crackling noise. That's the pressure leaking past the oil cooler. It's slowly leaking out the pressure, and it will continue to leak until all the pressure is gone. We also notice the bottom of the engine, that whole area, is coated in oil. So that means the oil cooler, or at least the gaskets and seals there, are compromised. And it may be when we get it apart, the cooler could be damaged. We don't know yet. But we now know where is the coolant mixing with the oil. Before we dive into the water pump issue and go any deeper, let's let Mrs. Wizard show you guys around the interior. She's got some very pertinent information inside of the interior.
So you were probably thinking from the condition of the exterior that this has a ton of miles on it. It doesn't. 80,012 miles. That is it. And this interior is nothing like the exterior. There's no hail dents, there's no scratches. And as we move up, you'll see the dash is in really nice condition. Kind of have a dark taupe and a lighter kind of grayish taupe below. We've got a big infotainment screen. Has some piano black accents as well, which I know is a love-hate relationship with so many people. So you either love it or you hate it. We do have controls for the HVAC system back there, our climate control options, and we have our gear selector beneath that. The only other option we have is traction control. We do have a cup holder with next to our e-brake in the center section, which does have a little bit of grime on it. And the armrest, the very small armrest, does have a little bit of wear on it. We open it up, got a few masks in there that are tucked away. As we look at the seats, they are cloth and they have kind of a two-tone and two different textures as well. They are in very good condition. They are not very luxurious. This is not a sofa on wheels because that's not what Chevy does with cars today, but they are clean and they look very nice. The door card has the light gray swooping in from the dash with the darker gray surrounding. As we look at the back seat, it is also in very good condition. One of the reasons the dash is in such good condition is probably because they do keep it covered with a sunshade. Headliner, guess what? Looking good. So with 80,012 miles, this car is looking great. Nothing going on with the steering wheel other than the horn button and the Chevy bow tie, but that is it. So, I really wonder what's going on with this water pump and how much is this all going to cost this poor customer?
So like Mrs. Wizard showed you guys, only 80,000 miles on this car, and it's kind of sad that we're at the limbo of whether or not it's worth it to fix. But we did block off the coolant pipes to the oil cooler and then pressure tested it again. It held pressure all day long. So I know it's not a head gasket. So out of the three possibilities that could have been, the transmission oil cooler has been ruled out. We showed you guys that. We also ruled out the head gasket by blocking off the oil cooler, and we physically heard the noise coming from the oil cooler down there underneath the exhaust manifold, which is very inconvenient to get to. The water pump itself, because of oil being mixed in this system, every rubber seal and every rubber hose is ruined. When you run this engine, you can hear the rubber seal on the water pump just screaming for life. It's bad. So it needs a new water pump, all new hoses, engine flushed, radiator flushed, because there's gunk all through this thing. Let me take one of the hoses off and show you how bad it was on the inside. And now remember, what you see in this hose is in all of the cooling system. The heater core, the radiator, the engine block, the cylinder head, everything. Look at that, guys. Brown sludge. That is in all of the cooling system. Solid sludge. So what do you get when oil and water mix together? Grease. You saw it with your own eyes. So is this engine savable? Is this car savable? Yes, it is. It could be fixed with a new oil cooler, all new hoses, flush the system, and be usable again. But we did inform the customer all the hoses, all the labor of flushing, the new water pump, possibly a new belt because it has oil all over it too, and the oil cooler job, which is a 4-hour job. It's kind of a big job. We could exceed $1,000 or more. The customer's on the fence, and I don't blame them because here's a picture of what you can go buy another Chevy Cruze for. Around $3,000. If we approach the $1,200 to $1,500 range in repairs, you almost go buy another car. Do you want to invest it in this car? I almost think it might be worth it, but it is the customer's decision. They're going to call us back and let us know. They're hashing out the numbers and kind of looking at everything. But they may not fix this. We'll just have to put it back together, and I don't know what they're going to do with it from here. But it is savable, but it's right on the line. Is it worth it or not? What do you guys think in the comments? Let me know. Just keep in mind there's a lot of unscrupulous shops out there that would try to quote a whole engine. But why would you even bother? It's definitely not worth a whole engine for this car. You can go buy another one of these. The engine itself is probably $3,000 or $4,000, and that doesn't include the labor of swapping it out with a new engine. Make sure you find a shop out there that does like we do we get to the bottom of exactly what is wrong with your car, what it's going to cost. Then you can make an informed decision on whether or not you want to spend the money or abandon the car. Now, would this be a good purchase to find on Marketplace and fix it yourself? Yeah. If I was a backyard mechanic and did my own work, this is totally doable by a backyard mechanic. You can have a good car. This is a good car. It just has an oil cooler problem. Shame that it's going to cost as much as it is to get it fixed, and we're approaching whether or not it's worth it. And it only has 80,000 miles on it. That's the sad thing. We'll wait to hear what the customer decides to do, but we definitely wanted to get a video for you guys to show you that we just went through this with the BMW. Now we're back in the same problem again, almost exactly the same problem on a Chevy. So if you're curious what kind of tools we're going to use to work on this, hopefully we get to work on this. Like those pressure testers, those are very, very handy. Those are listed in our Amazon affiliates link in the description below. A lot of the tools we have in the shop are listed for sale there. If you purchase anything, we get a small cut and really appreciate it. And make sure to hit the subscribe button because there's more of all kinds of problems coming into the shop, which means more videos for you guys. Thanks for watching.